a comprehensive look at trends, fund profiles, and more in Exploring ETFs.
Hi everyone, welcome to Exploring ETFs. I'm Neena Mishra, and today we are talking about some important changes that are happening in sector classification, and those will impact some of the biggest sector ETFs, some of the most popular sector ETFs, and also some large companies, some mega cap companies. So last year, S&P 500, S&P Dow Jones indices, and MSCI, which are the top two index providers, they announced some changes in the global industry classification standard, which is also known as GICS. And they published the list of companies that will be impacted by these changes. These changes will go into effect after the close of trading on March 17th. So just in a week or so, about 10 days. So these will impact classification of firms across 5 GICS sector. Now, these changes are not as significant as those that were announced in 2018 when the communication services sector was renamed, and some of the largest companies in the world, Google, Meta, they moved to this new sector. So, but these changes will impact 5 sectors, as I mentioned, and also some mega cap companies like MasterCard, Target, and Visa. Now, let's look into the details of these changes. So let's take a look at the major changes in the information technology sector, and these ETFs are held by many investors, technology ETFs like XLK and VGT. Now, out of this sector, some companies will go to financials and industrials sector. So data processing and outsourced services sub-industry is being discontinued. And from this sub-industry, transaction and payment processing services providers like Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal, they will go to financials sector. And then human resources and employment services providers will go to industrial sector, and these include companies like ADP and Paychex. So let's take a look at these sector ETFs. So if you go to the quote page on Zacks.com, you can read our research report articles, and using the link, you can go to State Street webpage, which is the largest provider of these sector ETFs. So let's take a look at where MasterCard and Visa lie. These are MasterCard and Visa. These are both pretty large companies. MasterCard is about $350 billion market cap, and Visa is even bigger, for $75 billion market cap companies. So when these two mega cap companies, Visa and MasterCard, move out of the information technology sector, then you will see that the weights of 2 of the largest companies in the world, Apple and Microsoft, which already account for about 44% of the portfolio in the technology sector, that will go up even further. Now, what about the financial sector? So financial sector, if you look at the holdings, so Berkshire is the largest holding currently, and then you have these big banks, JP Morgan, Bank of America, etc. So JP Morgan is about $422 billion market cap. So Visa and MasterCard, these would lie among the top 5 companies in the financial sector ETF. So let's look at the changes from consumer discretionary to consumer staples. So the major changes that retailers that are generating a majority of their revenue or earnings from staple items like food, household, and personal care products, companies like Target, Dollar General, and Dollar Tree, which were earlier in the consumer discretionary sector, they are moving to consumer staple sector. So let's quickly take a look at where Target lies in the consumer discretionary sector. So this is currently 10th largest holding in this sector. So this would move out, and the consumer staple sector has heavyweights, very large companies. So Target would probably not be among the top 10. Now let's take a look at how these sector weights are going to be impacted in the S&P 500 index, and this is important for investors that like to maintain a sector neutral exposure to the market. So the biggest changes are that information technology weight is going down from 25.7 to 22.5. And now let me remind that these are as of data as on December 30th, 2022, that was provided by S&P Global. And the weight of information technology in the S&P 500 index has gone up even further this year because tech stocks did quite well. Anyway, consumer discretionary weight is going to go down, 9.8 to 9.3. Financials will see a significant weight increase from 11.7 to 14.4. Staples, slight weight increase, 7.2 to 7.7. And industrials weight will also increase from 8.7 to 9.1%. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out zacks.com/promo for an interesting offer. Also, make sure to subscribe to our videos so that you do not miss anything. And I will see you next week.